Amber here from the Gardening Sisters, and today we're going to be potting up some more tulips. So I recently posted a video of all of the tulips, or my tulip order for spring of 2024. It is now January and it is January 10th. I'm going to go ahead and start potting up all of those pre-chilled tulips. So I did pre-chill my tulips on my own. I actually got kind of a late start on it because I started ordering my tulips a little bit late, so they didn't get the full 12 to 14 weeks that everyone recommends, but they have gotten about 8 to 9 weeks in the refrigerator. So I actually am going to be potting up all of my tulips, and I also have some hyacinths as well. So if you guys have not seen that video, all of these bulbs, including the hyacinth bulbs, all came from Holland Bulb Farms or Holland Farms. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, but I'm going to go ahead and get those out of the refrigerator now. So today we're going to be under my garage. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my little setup here. I already got some of my containers filled with soil. I left 2 of them open so that I can show you guys how I like to go in with rocks and block them so that they can have proper drainage. I will go ahead and show that to you guys now. Now I will say that as I am potting these up, I will not be showing you guys photos of these tulips, because if you want to know what they look like, you'll have to go back and watch that video that I put together specifically of the tulips that I ordered, if you really want to know how the tulip is actually going to look. Things to come before we hop into this. We are planning to finally go ahead and film how we make our homemade bone meal fertilizer, so stay tuned for that. As I mentioned, Brittany is really going to be directing that because she is the person that does our bone meal for the most part, and we've started our own compost bin, so that's pretty exciting. We're ready to see that as it breaks down. So I'm not sure if I'll get to show you guys that in our video this time, but I do have some other stuff as far as like seed starting videos that are about to start heading your way whenever I get to that. I'm actually going to go to the store today and pick up some more seeds. And last thing, I've been telling you guys that I have roses coming, so I'm probably going to film a video sometime this week of all of my David Austin roses. It's going to be very similar to my tulip order, so if you guys have seen that, or if you do go watch that and you like that, then you'll also get to see a rose video as well of all of the roses that I have coming in February. So now we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Like I said, I'm going to show you guys everything that I have here. I'm going to show you where they're going to sit, and we're going to go ahead and pot up these pre-chilled tulips. Okay, so here are all of my pots so far. So I really liked this potting mix right here. I used it on the last video. I love how nice and kind of loomy this soil is, so I went with that one again, and it is a lot cheaper than Miracle-Gro, and I think that the fertilizer is a little bit better in this as well. This is not a pot, nothing's going in there. That's just what I'm using to scoop. These pots here, I got all of these yesterday for about $2 at Lowe's, so they were on sale. I think they usually go for $3. Now this time I'm also wanting to mention that you guys can see here, I did not pack these with a lot of soil because I want to be able to cover my tulips with a decent amount of soil to hopefully encourage stronger stems. I wish that I would have done that in my previous tulip video, but here we are. You live and you learn. So I didn't put anything in this one or this one yet because these are not the same 2 pots. This is one of the ones I got from Lowe's yesterday, and this is one that I just got whenever I was buying my flowers before I really got heavily into starting my own flowers from seed. So I just wanted to show you the difference. The only difference is that it has more holes and they are at the bottom, whereas the one that I got from Lowe's for $2 only has 4 holes and they are more on the side. No big deal, but I did want to show you that, and I also wanted to show you something not filled in, because I do want to let you guys know that I do go in with rocks, as you guys can see here, to keep the soil from plugging up my drainage holes. So these are just some rocks we had from a previous project, and nothing special. You can get any rocks that you find as long as it covers up the hole. Or you can, I see other people use other things like coffee filters, but I prefer the rocks. They've been working pretty well for me. This is my kind of sort of like a little whiskey barrel that I'm going to be putting a number of tulips in. And then I saw this last minute and I thought that this would be cute as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take you guys to where these are actually going to sit and kind of show you kind of my idea of what we're going to be doing. Okay, so here is the 3-tier kind of plant stand that I told you guys that I was looking into getting. I finally got it. It came this week, so I put this together Monday while it was raining, and this is what it looks like. So all of my pots are going to just sit along here, and then I'll have other pots with different flowers kind of going along the side of it. And I'm also thinking about possibly getting another one of these, but I kind of don't want to overdo it with too many potted flowers. But of course I say that now and then. Once the season comes in, I'll probably end up getting another one. But I did want to show this to you guys, so if you guys like this plant stand, I will also include a link to it down in the description box, just in case you guys are interested in getting it. Now we're just going to go ahead and head back under the garage and go ahead and start potting some of these. So I hope that you guys can hear me. I just realized that my biotone that I ordered hadn't came in yet. I think it'll probably get here today or sometime this week. So I'm going to be using some of the bone meal that I told you guys my sister makes, and that we will be making a video for you all soon to see. I'm just going to use that to sprinkle that in. So off camera, I just went ahead and finished filling up the rest of my pots. Like I said, I won't be posting the photos, so if you guys want to see that, you will have to go look at that previous tulip video that I posted. But I'm just going to sprinkle in a little bit of this bone meal, and I'm just going to place the tulips very similar to the way I did in the previous video. So these seem to have held over nicely. Now the thing about tulips, guys, if you haven't planted tulips before, when you plant these, you don't want to plant anything that has like blue or that bluish greenish kind of like mildew on it. This one's actually kind of no good, because this is mushy. So I probably won't be planting this one. This one is good, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put these in. And the thing about tulips, you can plant these pretty much almost touching. Now if you have the ones that are good at naturalizing, which means that they are going to make baby bulbs for the time being, then you aren't going to want to plant them too closely, just because once they start to naturalize, the bulbs will kind of like bump into each other. So you want to leave enough space for that. Just kind of checking the tulips before I put them in there to make sure they're still in good condition. And I'm just going to put them down in here like this. So I don't know if I do have some that says that they are great for perennializing and naturalizing. I do plan on just simply ordering new tulips every year. I am going to try to attempt to save these, the ones that are still in good condition, just out of curiosity. But to be on the safe side, I am also going to order more tulips. And I should probably leave the names of these on top, because I do have to go back and label them, and if I don't do that, I will not remember. This is Golden Alpidorn. This is actually the only tulip package that actually came with a label. As with any bulb, you always want to plant the flat side down and the pointy side is up. So that's just what I'm doing here. You see this kind of film that's on it, you can plant that right along in there. That doesn't matter, that's not gonna hurt anything. That's just the way tulips are made. And some tulip bulbs are bigger than other varieties. So you'll see some videos say if the tulip bulb is too small, then it won't be good. That pertains to naturalizing and when you are trying to hold over your tulips for the next season. So some tulips, they just naturally have smaller bulbs, and that is fine. That rule only comes into play when you are trying to save your bulbs for the next season, the ones that have naturalized. And if they don't reach a certain size requirement, that basically means that they won't bloom the next following year. So it'll take like 2 or 3 growing seasons before those get big enough to actually produce a bloom. But if you get some tulips and you get a little nervous and you're like, well, these are kind of small, it all depends on the variety as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But at this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm pretty much doing the same thing for everything. So I'll probably speed this portion up because there's really not a lot to this, you guys. It's just not that hard. So I don't want to make you guys sit through this in real time. Like I said, the key to this is you can pack them as tightly as you want. You just don't want them to actually ever touch. All right, so I decided to just go ahead and start covering these with soil before moving on to my smaller containers. So I'm basically just showing that nothing difficult, just filling it with soil. So now we're gonna switch gears. I'm gonna go ahead and plant my hyacinths in this one. I do want to let you guys know you definitely need to wear gloves when you work with these because they irritate my skin pretty badly. And I've also seen where others have also said that they kind of had some sensitivity to this as well. So handle these with much care. I may just do these in one line. That's what I should have did. Put them in one line, push them snug, so that way they will all, I think it'll look better that way. And I think this is long enough for me to fit 12 going across. So I'm actually gonna try that instead, because I want these to be able to show pretty well. And by show pretty well, I mean like I want this to look full. So maybe I should have done it 2 across from each other, but I don't want them to look spaced out. So that's what I'm gonna do. See how this works. And I think that you can plant these pretty close together as well, kind of like with your tulip bulbs. So now this one, that one's no good. Yeah, that one's no good. It was kind of squishy, so I'm following basically the same principles I would follow with my tulip bulbs. And if they feel mushy, I'm not gonna use it. Yeah, I'll definitely have enough room to fit all 12 in line. And I'm really trying to push these down in here because I really want to make sure I can get these covered up with a decent amount of soil. And as always, every bulb is the same. Flat side is down, pointy side is up. And then I'm just gonna cover these with the soil that's there. I'm gonna apply more of that new soil as well. After this, I just have that one last whiskey barrel that I showed you guys. I'm actually doing a mix. I'm going to try something with that one. So I think I have either 1 or 2 pink varieties, and then I have that dark violet tulip that I bought. I think it's called, I can't remember, Queen of the Night maybe. I'm going to mix those because in my mind, I think that will look good. I think it's Don Quixote and Queen of the Night. So those are the 2 that are going to be in there. And I also kind of had to do that as well, which in the whiskey barrel, I always knew I was going to do a mixture, but for space-wise, I knew I was going to have to mix some of my tulips together. So one more coat of this, because I really do need to save the last little bit of soil that I have to be able to cover up my tulips that are going to go in that whiskey barrel. And I'm satisfied with this. I don't even have to label this because I know the only thing that's in here are my pink hyacinths. So we are good to go on that. Go ahead and get my last tulip bulbs situated, and then I will take you guys over to show you all what the setup is going to look like. Like I said earlier, these are the Don Quixote and the Queen of the Night. And I'm going to push some of this soil. I'm going to take some of this soil out so that way I can make sure that these are deep enough, because I want to make sure that all of my tulips develop strong stems so that they can stand up nicely. This is soil that was already in there actually from my dahlias or dahlia that I showed you all in a previous video. And I guess I'll kind of push some to the side. So I really want to make sure that this gets covered up pretty nicely. I'm just gonna go in and add a handful of bone meal. And I don't want to space these too far, but I have quite a few of the Don Quixote because my original bag had they weren't in the best shape, so they were nice enough to send me new ones. And I'm just gonna kind of put the first bag of the Don Quixote in, and I only have 6 of the Queen of the Night, so I will go in and sprinkle those in as well. I think the Don Quixote had 14 per bag, so I'm gonna have a few of those. I kind of want the Queen of the Night to kind of come up in the middle. These are both supposed to come up at around the same time, and they're supposed to be around the same height as well. So I think kind of seeing that dark black contrast against that really pretty pink, I think that's going to be cute. So I'm going to go ahead and finish adding the last of the Don Quixote that I have around the edges. And we're just basically gonna see how this turns out. Hopefully I'll like it. And I'm hoping I'm not planting these too close to the sides of this pot either. And now I'm just gonna finish topping this off with soil. And I'm basically going to add the last of the soil that I have left in this bag. And that will do it. So that'll do it for all of my tulip and hyacinths. And I almost forgot that they sent over some alliums. These were for free. They came a part of my order. So I actually have 50 of these. I was looking at my David Austin rose catalog as I was looking for more roses to order for my rose garden this year. And I read that these will emit a strong odor that will deter pests like aphids and other different pests. And it says that it's also supposed to help reduce black spot disease. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant these up in like a few pots just so that I can kind of move them around my garden. I don't really want these in the garden, or at least that's the idea for now, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that as well. And that's pretty much it. And I'll show you guys, like I said, the setup. And I hope that you guys could hear me. There was a lot of construction going on in the back, which I'm pretty sure that's picking up on, but I'm gonna go ahead and move this, and then I will figure out what I'm gonna do with the allium, show you guys the setup that I have in the front, and that'll pretty much be it. Okay, so I'm just showing you here. I told you guys I was going to put these alliums in smaller containers. My sister and I are thinking about just using smaller containers to sit these around the garden, or kind of like within our garden, since it is supposed to have pest deterring benefits. I just did not want these in my actual flower garden, and although they are supposed to help my roses, I'm not even sure if the drumstick ones will emit the odor like the kind of like the big giant ball ones that you guys are used to seeing. So I just wanted to show you that here are 3 of them that are already in there. I put about 5 to 6 in the smaller ones, and I did the same thing, just taking a little bit of the bone meal and I'm basically just going to place these little tiny bulbs in like I would do anything else. So kind of make this a little bit more, and some of these are a little bit harder to see where the bottom of the bulb are, but you can kind of tell just by looking at that part right there. So that's really all I'm doing. I'm just placing them in here like this. I'll probably go in and space these out a little bit more because I do think these are supposed to multiply, but there's not much to it, so I didn't really want to waste too much time showing you guys that, since mainly this video was supposed to be you guys coming and potting up those pre-chilled tulips with me. So I just wanted to include this in case you guys were wondering. Okay, so this is pretty much going to be the finished product of the setup. So I kind of already have them arranged the way I want the colors to kind of the way that I want the colors to be set up. So you guys can see I have 3 on each row. I thought that those 2 were going to be able to fit, but I didn't want to risk the wind blowing and knocking them off. So I really like this setup, and I really like how I'm loving this plant stand. So like I mentioned earlier, I will have that in the description box if you guys are looking for something similar. And then I just have my hyacinths kind of lined along the side, and then my last little whiskey barrel full of tulips. I have it like that for now. Now as these begin to bloom, things will probably get rearranged as far as the things that are on the bottom, but for now this is how it's set up. So we are just gonna go with that, and that is what that's looking like. All right, so that is pretty much going to conclude today's video. I definitely feel like this is going to be a nice little area for me to film once everything starts to kind of bloom And once the tulips are done, I do plan on actually putting more flowers for the rest of the summer in here. So I definitely am excited to see what I will be able to come up with. But that is pretty much it for this video. So I do want to say that you guys saw me watering. I did not add a lot of water just because I don't want it is pretty cold outside, and I don't like to overwater my tulips just because I'm always nervous that they may rot out. Now everything I planted for the most part looked pretty healthy, but I'll just kind of keep an eye on, especially since they're going to be sitting outside. They will be able to get moisture just from you know, the natural elements. So I do think that these may actually end up getting their at least maybe 10 weeks. Obviously I don't know the forecast too far out, but for the rest of this week it is going to be lower than the 60s, and the nights they have definitely been cool. Next week, the earlier part of next week, we're actually looking at some pretty low temperatures. So I think that they will actually get that maybe 10-week mark, but that's why I wasn't too nervous about planting these at the time that I planted them, because January and February are always our coldest months here in 8B. So hopefully those extra few weeks of cool weather will also help with the pre-chilling that I did in my refrigerator. So of course I'm going to bring you guys back as everything begins to start to bloom, and I will give you guys a tour of all of the tulips once they show up. And that is going to be it for today's video. So I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you will know every time we post new content, and also so you will be able to come back and see how these tulips and these hyacinths progress, and also the allium bulbs that I planted as well. So until next time, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys in our next video.